camera. On. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of My Waterbury. I'm your host, Art Denz. Before we get into this evening's program, I have to say hello to our little Princess Grace. Her second day of school, or third day now, and she likes her new teacher, which is a plus. But we'll see what the rest of the year brings. Secondly, for those seniors out there, I have a senior bus going to Foxwoods on September 12th. If you're interested, please give me a call at 203-755-5761. I will give you all the particulars about it. So without further ado, noticing this young lady next to me, I'm sure she's no stranger to a lot of people here in Waterbury, Danielle Albert. Welcome to the program, Danielle.
Thank you, Art.
Pleased to have you. She is running for the 71st District State Representative seat on the independent line. And my friends, hopefully tonight she could give you a lot of information about herself and about what she'd like to do and be visible in the 71st District. So with that being said, Danielle, would you please let the audience know a little bit about yourself, your background, and we'll get into obviously the physical aspect of the state representative position.
Absolutely. Hi, everybody, and hi, girls, if you're watching. I hope you are. I've lived in the 71st District for 13 years. We live in the south end of Waterbury, my family and I do. And during that time, I haven't seen representation change at all. I feel that change is very important. City demographics change, household changes, neighborhoods change, and I feel like I am at a place that I can offer some positive change to the 71st District. Just because things have always been done a certain way doesn't mean that they need to continue to be done a certain way, and I think it's important that individuals who represent those in our district don't become stagnant. And like I said, I feel like I can offer just a different perspective that is my own to the district. About myself, I am a mother of 3 beautiful daughters who attend public school. They go to Gilmartin, and I am very active in the education system in the city. I am the wife of an Army veteran. I am very proud to say that my husband Eric served a deployment in Afghanistan several years ago.
Thank God.
I am a taxpayer, of course. First and foremost, I am a taxpayer of this city. I am a former educator. I taught preschool for many, many years before I got into the healthcare field, so I have a pretty diverse background. I'm a daughter of a mom who owned her own business, and I'm also the daughter of a dad who is living 20 years in recovery and sobriety. So my own life experiences I feel, bring a lot to the table and just touch maybe a different audience than our current representation has.
Well, there's no question about it, Danielle. Obviously, I think one of your biggest assets is because you're so active with the Board of Education. In education itself, I should say. That's a plus. Obviously, you know, you don't have to get into specifics as far as education in Waterbury, but we know it needs a lot of work. And there's so many parents like yourself now that are involved, and they're voicing their opinion, which is it's healthful. You know what I'm saying? Because people, once they get involved in their parents, and you know that as being a mother, it serves as a positive for that particular individual and that particular school.
I was just at a board meeting before I came here, and you can voice your opinions and voice your feelings. The problem is the disconnect, and whether it's with the Board of Education, whether it's with representation, unless you're going to get some feedback and there's going to be teamwork and collaboration, but whether it's between the board and the parents or the city taxpayers and their representation, there has to be some give and take. And I know I feel better when I know that people are listening, and that's what I would hope to be as a representative, that people could come to me and know that I hear what you're saying and I will be here to help.
Right, and that's so important because like you, I tried a couple of times in that same particular district. And I'm frustrated because I lived in the 71st district. I've been there a long time. A long time is what I'll say. I won't give you the years. But anyway, see, nothing happens. And when you don't see your state representative, you wonder how are we being represented in that particular district? You know, I mean, the folks in Middlebury, which is part of the 71st, I don't hear any noise out there about anything happening. So, I mean, these are the things I'm sure you're aware of at this point. And obviously, in order to get the word out, people have to understand where you're coming from. And as you said, change, just for change is not what we're looking for. Change for the positive, for the people, the taxpayers, the citizens of that district is very, very important.
And I think the only way, or one of the best ways to reach out and interact with the community is through the neighborhood associations, through the community clubs. I've been involved with the Gilmartin Community Club for the last several years. Until the representation can tap into what the taxpayers want, you can't really do anything. You need to know what the people need from you. And I mean, I don't see representatives of any kind, whether local,
You're absolutely
at
right.
any of these meetings.
I have to
reaching
agree
out.
with you. You're absolutely right. In order to represent you have to be involved with your district. And if you show up at an association meeting or any function that goes on in that particular district, that's how you get feedback from your constituents. And you know, we have a meeting once a month in our association, Town Plot Neighborhood Association. And if you remember correctly, we had a forum when it was for the
Alderman by district.
alderman by district. And one alderman says flat out, he's not coming to any of our meetings. Well, we know where we stand with him. But you know what? We have not seen an alderman at our meetings either. So this is what I'm saying. This is so important. And I know just the way, you know, with your involvement here in the city, I know you'll attend those meetings because obviously you want to know, because you want to help people. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure they get their share. Okay?
You know, I would never say something that I was going to do something if I'm not going to follow through. And I think that's what people, my friends, family know about me. If I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to say I'm going to do it. But if I say it, you have my word that I will follow through. And I think that's the piece that's missing now. I mean, there's no accessibility, there's no real approachability with current representation, and I think that I can change that. I'm a mom. I live in the South End. I shop at Stop and Shop and go to 7-Eleven, and you know, I am here. I'm.
Well, that's the big thing. There's no question about it. You have to be accessible to your constituents, number one. You have to show them that you're interested for their concerns. Unfortunately, we don't have that today. You know, we've had a few situations just in Town Plot. Again, I could go back to the fire that was down at the one down the Platts Mills, Bristol Babcock.
Yep. That's my neighborhood.
That's
I
your
smell the
neighborhood.
smoke.
Guess what? We never heard from our state representative on that.
No.
And there's still, those poor people, and I'm sure you read the paper, those poor people are still looking for some kind of resolve down there with all the PCBs that have burned, and they're still present.
Yep.
Nobody has said a word about it. You know, I'm saying this is just one small portion.
Right.
But obviously, once you get in Hartford, that's another ball game. You know, it's a lot, it's give and take. You know, you're going to be working on people on both sides of the aisle. That's the name of the game. You have to do that because what you're doing is you want to bring something back for your district.
Right.
And I see every other district except ours, they continue to get many, many funds from the state.
You have to. I think what I'm prepared to do is go up there and make some noise, because unless you make some noise, things don't change and nothing.
You're right.
Nothing happens. And you know, I'm trying.
Well, that's, you know, I don't want to, I'm not trying to
Yeah.
pressure you, but
No.
the point of the matter is change is good if it's a positive change.
Right.
Okay? Now, I've had many people come to me and say, they call the state rep, they never call them back. And, you know, that's sad, because here is, now he's been in that position, I'm guessing at least 20 years. And you know, one of the first, the first time I ran, you know what my first recommendation was? Term limits. If we don't have term limits, these people get in this office, or any office, and think they own that particular position, and they're untouchable. And unfortunately, folks, and by the way, you have something to ask Danielle, please call. Don't wait till the end of the program. We'd like to hear from you now, or before we go off anyway. But the point of the matter is, you have to be on top of everything. And you know, it's just not a high-profile situation, or you know, say, hey, I'm a state. No, it's because you're going to be dedicated to that particular position for your constituents. And when constituents have a person that represents them, you know what? They come to you automatically. I mean, they know you're there for them. They come and they ask many questions. I know. I mean, being on the Board of Aldermen for my years there, it didn't matter to me where they were from in the city, because at the time it was Aldermen at large. Same thing here to a degree, where you're in that particular district.
But if anybody comes forward from anywhere with a question, it's all of the 5 representatives' jobs collectively to find answers. And if you don't know the answer, then you follow through and you find out and you follow up with, and that's important. You don't just leave people to flounder. I mean,
No, I understand exactly where you're coming from, because, you know, you have 5 representatives from Waterbury. They are responsible for each district, but collectively, they still represent Waterbury.
Right.
That's the main, and that was the premise that they served us with Board of Aldermen. First, they represent the city, but secondly, they have to make sure they pay attention to their respective districts.
Right.
And that's, you know, it's the exact same way that the state representatives should be working. And unfortunately, you know, I hate like heck to say it over and over again, because this, as far as I'm concerned, this is a position or person that's absent. He's AWOL, as far as I'm concerned. More important about getting a top job within the party, that's not what it is.
There's nothing worse than being complacent, I think, and I do believe that.
Well, I mean, you're going in with a good attitude, number one. But, you know, once you get in, you're going to see, you know, you're going to be, believe me, you'll be bombarded, because people will know exactly, just by talking to you, that you're going to be accessible to them. And that's very important.
And I have strong opinions. I have opinions on taxes, on health care, on veterans affairs, homelessness. I mean, these are all important issues. I mean, minority teaching. There was a big discussion tonight at the Board of Education meeting.
Yeah.
I have very strong opinions, because all of these topics are very personal to me and have a place in my life. And I might not be able to bring college experience or to it, but I can bring the perspective of how these things have affected my life, and what I think works and what I think does. And I think that you mentioned before the working with both sides. I'm an independent. I'm an independent thinker. I'm an independent person. I think that there is always a way to take the best out of both sides and make them work. It doesn't have to be one side or the other. All these issues that are important to me, important to the taxpayers, there's a way to make them work. And that's really how I've lived my own life. You can always make it work, no matter.
You know,
before
I forget, I mean, you know, I've heard a few people comment that because these particular people, the Republicans, are in the minority, they don't put up a fight for anything. So they just attend the meetings, they go to Hartford, could go home and come back, but that's not what they're there for. Regardless if you're in a minority or not, you still represent people. And that's what you're there for. And I know, like taxes. Now, I don't have to go to, taxes are ridiculous in the state. What do you think about the taxes?
First and foremost, I am a taxpayer. I have a modest small home. I drive a normal car. It's crippling. I care very much about this city. I want to stay here. The community of friends, the family, I care about what happens.
Right.
However, I could never support something that's going to tighten the noose that so many of us have around our necks. I could never support that.
Well, this is unfortunately, you see, you get no, probably the word eludes me at this point, but you don't get any resistance in Hartford where it makes a big deal where you have to put these people on the spot. There are a few leaders in the Republican Party that continue to go against what the governor puts out there. But you know what? You have to do a little bit more than that. I always said, if you're in a minority and you have an idea or you're trying to protect the citizen, you know what? You get up on the tallest building and you scream like hell.
And there's strength in numbers, and
Right.
I think part of this job is getting people together, making them aware that they do have a voice, that collectively you can make change in larger numbers. It's let's everybody get up to the top of the building
Right.
and
Exactly.
and work together. And
Yeah. I mean, I'll just give you a small example that I don't know if you remember a while back. We had a situation right on Highland Avenue. The Masons Hall on Highland Avenue wanted to get a cell antenna within the building. Well, make a long story short, they were rejected by the Zoning Board of Appeals. They went before the Zoning Commission. The Zoning Commission never even discussed any zoning issue, but they granted them the permit. Okay? We got no comment at all from our state representative. None. He came to one meeting, and all he did was give some gobbledygook speech that he did not, in other words, my point is, Danielle, he did not support the neighborhood. And that's so important for a representative.
you're dealing with a situation like that. You're dealing with safety. You're
Right.
dealing with the health and safety. I have 3 children. Would I want that tower up at the top of Tracy Street where I live? No, I don't want and it's not safe, and it's not what
Well,
the community's support.
I don't want to cut you short or correct you. See, the sad situation with that, you cannot, and we were told, and I knew this going in, you cannot bring up health issues when you're fighting a cell antenna installation. But you can fight it as far as reducing your property value, a commercial operation in a residential area. Those are the
Yep.
things that are very, very important that nobody took into consideration. And that's why I say it's so important for you as a state representative to be in that situation where you could give your opinion.
If the people that elect you, if you're not going to support the people that elect you,
Right.
then what are you doing?
I agree.
mean,
Well,
that's
obviously, like I said, because it's an honor to serve, and that's all that propaganda that we get in the mail all the time. That's all it is propaganda, because we're paying for that, you know.
Yeah.
Comes out of the taxpayer's pocket. But this is the thing that really upsets me so much, that people unfortunately don't see what's going on. I don't know if they don't read the paper, but when I ran and I went in Middlebury, do you know at least half of the people in Middlebury didn't know who the representative was?
it took me a long time to find out myself.
Thank
and
you.
I Google everybody. It took me a long time
But this
to
is the
find out.
sad situation. You should know who your state representative, you should know who your state senator is. And obviously, you should know who your governor is. But
I think a lot of people know who I am.
well, that's because you're passionate about how you feel, number one, about education. And I'm sure, now you're in the health field, I'm sure you have a feel for that also. See, these are the things that it's great having that experience, coming forward and getting involved in state government. You know, you see how it works, and it's very important. Like I said, I mean, I give you a lot of credit because
This isn't just on paper. This is another job and something that I really I'm taking this very seriously.
Right.
This isn't just propaganda. I really feel that I can do something
See, we have a call. Well, I'll let Chris pick it up. But I mean, this is what you have to do. You're representing people, and what they say, it's a public service. That's what it is when you get into politics. Or I shouldn't. I hate to say the word politics. To me, politics is a dirty word. I even hate that when they call me a politician. But you know, you do it for a particular reason, is because you want to do good for your city and for your constituents in that city. In this particular case, your district and the city, obviously, because you know, you're all representing.
Like I said,
the city.
I do care. Somebody recently said to me that Waterbury is the smallest big town that you'll ever find, and it's true. The sense of community is
Yeah. No, you're
it's
right.
very strong.
All right, let's take a call. Good evening, caller.
How you doing?
Good, you? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Okay, I got a couple of questions to ask, which are really locally. But what is being done with this $50 million school? That's what, 3 years over, a little more? As the floors are cracking, the sheetrock is coming off the walls, the windows don't close, and the city don't seem to give a damn. Also, they hire a consultant, right, or whatever you want to call him, for the new roof. It starts out at $3.5 million or something. Now it's $5 million over. I mean, how did they get away with this, the Board of Education? Our people are getting raped every single minute of the day. You know, and it seems the mayor don't care. We're expendable.
Well, Danielle, as you know, the roof of the school he's talking about is West Side.
Well,
School.
I think there was two. The first is Whams and the cracking
Right,
at
right.
Whams. That is
Thank you, caller.
That's what I do.
Have a good night.
That's actually very, very concerning to me because after investigating a little bit, it was found that soil samples weren't taken and there was no rebar. And this was all out in public. There was no rebar. Now, rebar is what supports the concrete.
Right.
That's a problem to me. I mean, children attend school there. If the right supports aren't in place for this building, that's very dangerous. My concern is, and this does go along as well with the roof, the city hires consultants, experts, to ensure these things don't happen, and here we are, these safety issues are happening.
Yeah.
As for the roof at West Side, I mean, to my knowledge, 80% of that was state money. And now,
Yeah. Approximately 80. Yeah, you're right. Yes.
so
Regardless of
who's-
where the money comes from, it's still taxpayers'
there's,
dollars.
yes. And where's the noise? Who is out there making noise about this?
There's only a handful of people, unfortunately. The Board of Education, it's been like this for years, Danielle. I don't have to tell you, the more money they get, the more money they spend. I don't get it. I mean, the marks and our grades,
Dismal.
they keep, I mean, yes, there's some improvement, but not improvement where it makes a big difference.
No.
So, I mean, where do you go with it? Again,
But the point is, we are getting money. We get money from the state, Alliance grant money, 21st Century grant money. The problem is the oversight. Is this money being spent in the appropriate places and being put into the proper resources?
Right.
I don't believe it is. And that's why I am out there, and there are other advocates out there who are trying to bring some type of awareness. The dollars need to go to the children where they should be.
right. There's no question about it. And, you know, it's been going on for a long time. I don't see it stopping anytime soon because apparently people don't realize the money that's being wasted. I mean, you could spend another $10 million. Will that improve our grades? Will that improve the education that these kids... Look, the teachers are doing as best they can. But you know what? And you know this being a parent. If the children don't have the proper function at home, it's going to reflect in school.
I mean, I'm a huge proponent of parent engagement. When I mean, you can't do anything. I say anything without parental support, whether it's parental, grandparents, without that stable
Right.
home, it makes everything so much more difficult.
Yep.
And even as a state representative, there has to be a way to engage families, whether it's through the schools, going to the community clubs, but it has to start somewhere. That solid foundation has to
Well,
begin.
number one, you have to make yourself available.
Yeah.
Not when they think it's right, or when it's for their own personal
Personal gain.
gain is absolutely right. That it doesn't work that way. You have to be out there at any given time. You know, when somebody has a problem, be out there, announce it, and you know people will feel your passion for that. You know, and it's good
It's like the tagline: "Call someone who cares." Well,
Right,
you know what?
and-
I do care. I care about the community, and I care about this city.
No, I mean it's good that you have that that outlook, and I mean you'll be a great representative. There's no question about it, because you're passionate about how you feel, especially in education, your knowledge in healthcare to a degree. I mean, you know, and the rest will come.
Yeah.
You know, taxes is very, very important. You see what's going on in the state with the wasting of money. State employees are getting ridiculous pensions. You know, that's it. Huh. Okay. Can you finish up here on, you know, as far as telling the folks how to get a hold of you if you want to, or hopefully we'll get you out there to see a lot of them.
Yes, I do. I look forward to that. I look forward to getting out and meeting the community and those people who don't know who I am. I think I'm just going to go back to the change. Change is a beautiful thing, and we can always learn and grow, and that's where I really tried to teach my daughters. Take every opportunity as it presents itself and just go for it, and be the change that you
Okay.
want to see. Thank you.
And folks, hopefully you'll pay attention. Look, this is not the first time. I'll have her back. The next time, I'm sure she'll be able to give you a more broader discussion on what you would like to do for you. Okay? Thank you for allowing us into your living room this evening. God willing, I will see you next week. Danielle, thank you very much for coming out.
Manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If the door's locked, knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't stare, don't use bad language, or talk with your mouth full. Keep your elbows off the table.
What
And
table?
don't interrupt. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give your seat up to anybody who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you want to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
Good talk.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing